Welcome back, folks. Today's game is extremely long, so let's not waste any time and let's take a look at it. The tournament is the Berlin Team Championship, and I'm playing black, and we have my second exchange Karokan of the tournament. The first one, we'll take a quick look at it, because also was kind of a miniature game. When kind of like this, there's not that much to say, like opposite side castling. And once I saw this pin, like right now there's no threat, but when you see queen and king on the same diagonal, just go for the attack. And I set up this cheap trap with the queen c7, and the idea was if you take, you lose, because the bishop is now defended and I win the queen, so he misses it basically, and I won in 16 moves. This game that I'm gonna show you lasted like forever, and we have this position with h3. Now I can drop my bishop back like a normal person, or I can pretend I know something about chess, and I took. And why is that? Because I want to secure control over the e5 square. Now I remove the knight, and now I'm controlling this square with these two pieces. I can play in the future f6, e5, like this is gonna be my biggest asset in the game. And after bishop takes f3, I play queen h4. That's not a good move. Super aggressive, but actually it runs directly into g3, and now I can't take because bishop g4 traps the queen. Like the queen has nowhere to go, and I have to take the rook, and I mean this is lost. Okay. With that being said, opponent misses g3 and plays the solid bishop e3. And now I play knight g7. Now you're telling me, why knight g7 and not knight f6? Well, in this case, let's say I play knight f6. The knight has nowhere to go. Like, okay, it's e4, but you're not threatening anything from there. Instead, with knight g7, I can jump into f5, attacking the bishop. I give f6 to the queen in case he attacks it, and also I'm adding some defense to the pawn on d5. We have queen d2, and I play h6. I was expecting this move because first of all it's a natural move. You wanna start, like, after moving the knight you want to connect the rook, and also this move like straight up threatens to trap the queen. Like, let's say I play this traps the queen, so I have to react, and I play h6. We have queen e2, queen back to f6, because now I'm pretty sure my queen is gonna get trapped and I'm gonna miss something, so it's time to go back. And look, queen f6, like I could have also played knight f5, but I was scared that like he had some crazy response, like I don't know, this, and now if I take this check, But computer is not afraid, and I could have just played this. But okay, it's easy to miss like these moves, and I didn't want my opponent to... I didn't want to make my opponent look like a genius, so I went for the more solid queen f6. We have knight d2, knight f5. Now, bishop d5 doesn't work, doesn't win material, so it's fine for me. After knight f5 we have rook fe1, and now it's time to castle. I waited this long because I wasn't sure if I wanted to castle short or long and make the game like completely insane. So I decided for a more solid approach. And also once you castle queenside, like you better be prepared for the attack, otherwise like c4 comes, the file opens, you're gonna get smashed here. So now with that being said, although I castled short in this game, it's gonna be nuts anyway, so just be patient. Now my opponent plays bishop g4, and now I have three options: knight takes c3, and at this point he can even take with the pawn to open the f file for the rook. This position looks fine for me, looks actually better for me, but I didn't trust like the opening of the f file. There's too much going on here. He can also take with the queen. In that case, the only move I have to claim a small advantage is out of nowhere b5. What? I don't know, probably to prevent any like queenside expansions. Anyway. Also at this point I thought, why just not being super aggressive with e5? But now he can take the knight, he can take the pawn, he can even play queen f3 to add more pressure to the knight. And the position is too complicated, like it's unnecessarily complicated. So I rejected this idea, and at the end of the day I went for the super solid rook fe8. And now after knight f1 my opponent offers me a draw, and the fact is I accepted 2 draws in like my last 3 games over the board, one of which was in this tournament, and in both games I took the draw, but after checking the position with an engine I found out I was like slightly better. I mean, doesn't mean a lot, because computer sees things that we can't see, but still I was kind of disappointed. So yeah, I was too proud to take the draw, let's say that. And also one of my teammates had already lost his game, so we were already down 1-0. So I decided, okay, let's not take this draw, let's play on. I ignored the offer and I play knight takes e3 on the last chance probably of playing this move, because otherwise he would have probably retreated the bishop. We have knight takes e3, knight takes back, and bishop f4, because I have no idea now what I'm doing. Like I have to come up with some new plans. My opponent goes for queen f3. If I'm not mistaken, at this point he offered me a draw again. I ignore it again, and I play bishop g5 with the idea of just trading queens, and he plays bishop f3. Now, deep breath. What's going on here? So he offered me a draw. Like, I turned down 2 draw offers. We traded queens. We have opposite color bishops. Like, this game is a draw. Like, there's nothing to do. The position was equal, like super, like pretty balanced for the whole game. We are playing for a draw. So I have to take some measures now. The only thing that gives me hope that maybe I can win this game is this pawn, because I have always this break and I can build up around this pawn. You know, maybe double up the rook on the e-file. At a certain point I can push. I just have to be sure that this pawn is not hanging. But this is still a big asset for me. And maybe I have some minority attack on the queen side. I can reroute my knight in some ways. And so I decided it's time for to spice things up. And we have a5, rook e2, a4, rook a e1. Like, now our plans are pretty clear. Like, he's fighting for this, I'm fighting for that. And now I move my rook to rook ec8, because in this position he was threatening, let's say, he was threatening this. And I lose. So I have to move my rook. And I decided to go to c8, anticipating that this pawn is gonna be weak like in a few moves. Once I play a3 and he has to play like b3, and I can move the knight and take the pawn. Like, there's some pressure going on here. And he ignores the queen side and he goes for the bishop. And you know what? I don't want to play passive. At this point I just told you I wanna make the position imbalanced. So let's just go completely crazy. Knight a5. We have takes, rook c2, b5. Finally a3, like computer was screaming a3 all for like 10 moves in a row. We should have played, like, both black and white should have played a3. Now these pawns are kind of fixed. But I have two outposts here. And I choose b3. b3 is the wrong move. Of course, like, b3 is a dumb move. I don't know why I played that. c4, like knight c4, is the logical move, because you're playing into the center. You're keeping an eye on this. You're keeping an eye on both those. Instead, knight b3 relies on one single trick, like let's say this, and it's this one. But if he defends it, this knight is stranded here. Opponent plays bishop d1. Bishop d1 is an impressive move, and it's also the best move in this position. And the fact is, I forgot to mention that before the game I had absolutely no idea how strong my opponent was, like in terms of rating, but also in terms of play. If I would have probably accepted the draw offer if I knew it. Yeah. Anyway, now I lazily play rook c7. Don't know, it's a flexible move. Maybe I wanna double up. Maybe I wanna start pushing. Don't know. But I completely ignore his move. Like, his plan now was pretty clear. f4. And now I feel that the tempo of the game is switching. After f4, we have been playing for like 3 hours. We are both tired. I mean, I was tired. I guess my opponent was tired as well. And, you know, humans kind of suck at defending positions. So I start making mistakes. Like, since I didn't want to play passively and put rooks like behind pawns, I chose to go rook a6. We have rook f2, king g7, f5, rook e7. Engine doesn't like anything we have done, like in this last 5 moves, but who cares? So now he can trade bishop for knight, but he decided to keep the bishop, and I blunder with rook d7, because apparently now he can play, for example, I don't know, bishop e2, rook to attack this, rook b6 to defend it, and now bishop g4, adding more pressure. And at, like, you know, after this there is too much pressure going on here. Something is gonna fall and it's gonna win. It was a bit hard to see. He misses it. So after rook d7, he blunders back with g4. And now I feel that now he is the one who has winning chances. So what I need to do now, I just need to defend and shut up. So the priority is bringing the knight that is stranded on b3 back into the game via a5, c4. And that's exactly what happens. Knight a5, rook fe2. I have clutch move rook d6 to defend this, and not this, because I can't take back because this pawn is pinned. So I'm building defense on the side of the board, not behind the pawn. King g2 gives me time to play knight c4, and king g3 gives me time to play finally e5. Like, the whole game plan was to play e5 at a certain point, and now we have e5, and now I feel like the tempo is switching again, and now all of the play is in my favor. But is it? So we have takes, and he plays h4. h4 is a huge mistake, because apparently I can play nasty move king f6. Like, I don't know if it's, for you it's probably not gonna be that big of a deal. For me it is, because first of all, you are like putting your king closer to the attack, to the opponent's attack, and I don't know, just look too scary. I played the more logical, like the more intuitive f6 to build this kind of chain. Again, now we are both tired, but he still finds some clutch moves like rook d1, and now this pawn is under attack. So I have two choices: d4, and after takes, rook e7 check, king f8, and rook h7. In my mind, I was completely lost in this position because he has too much activity over here. This pawn is gonna fall, but apparently it's equal. In the game, I played e3, e4, because, like, first of all, I calculated after e4, the knight has a juicy outpost on e5, on a dark square, so it can't be touched by the bishop. Like, if opponent wants to remove this knight, has to sack a rook. On a very central square, where it covers a lot of like important squares, this is gonna be a monster knight here. And so I go for e4. Opponent plays bishop g2. We have knight e5. Computer was really not impressed by knight e5 anyway. He wanted me to move the king. I don't know, some obscure moves. Never mind. So, and also what I calculated was after, like, I calculated this here. I can play this, this, and now I have knight d3, but he has bishop f1, and now I was just hoping that I had something in this position to hold. Apparently I have d4, but yeah, super complicated position, and it also always looks like it's gonna crumble. So we have rook e d2, as I anticipated, as I expected. And now, instead of going for the, like, for what I calculated, so knight d3, I was like, you know what, let's go completely crazy without calculating. Let's go e3. I just make a mess of the position, and let's see if one of us can win, can lose. Looks like a weird move. Looks like I'm a genius, I don't know. But this loses. And it's almost +2 after rook e2. Like, if you let the computer run, it's gonna go up. Because this pawn, like, you can't defend both. You're gonna lose one, and after you lose one of these, you're gonna lose the other one. But instead of this, it takes. And this allows me to play e2. Like, the whole game plan to push the e pawn now is, you know, is paying off. And I can push e2, and doesn't matter what he does. Like, I'm pretty sure you can take rook e1, and now I have rook d2, pressure in this, or you can go like right away rook e1, and after takes this, you move your bishop, let's say this way, and you have the kind of the same line where your rook lands on d2. This b2 pawn is gonna fall. Like, in this position I'm fine, and not only I'm fine, I'm better, and I don't know if I can lose this, probably not. So, where were we? So after e3, as I said, instead of playing rook e2, he takes. Folks, I'm telling you, you're not ready for this. And now, as I said, I have e2, like the whole idea in the whole game was to push this e-pawn. No, let me take the rook. And now I'm lost again. Oh my god. Because after rook takes, I can't push because his king is just too close. This rook can't help. And like Stockfish is claiming that I have this last trick, knight g4, with the idea of if you take I promote, but you can just ignore it and play, I don't know, bishop f3. The knight is under attack, this is not going anywhere, and I am lost. But guys, after rook takes, he takes with the bishop. And now I'm back in the game. I'm back in the game because I have e2 again. Oh my god. Oh my goodness. This game was so crazy. And after e2, the idea is you have to play rook e1. And after rook d6, let's say you move the bishop, I don't know where. Like almost the same line as before, as we already saw. Like the rook lands on e2, this pawn is gonna fall, these pawns are gonna fall as well. But you know what I played in this position? Rook d6 without playing e2, and I'm lost again because he has rook d4, only move. And if I push, he has this. No, I am hallucinating. If I push, he has king f2. This is such a massive move. But after, I don't know, after 4.5 hours, we were tired. We are not supposed to find all the best moves all the time. And he plays bishop f3. Folks, as soon as I saw bishop f3, like, I pretend to calculate something in my head, but I already know this was time to do it. Knight takes f3. Savage move. If you take, I promote. If you bring the king closer, I promote. If you try to prevent with the rook, I still promote. And now I'm a piece up and I win. I don't know exactly what happened in this position. Don't know if he played like a careless move or if he was just overconfident, or probably was just tired as I was. Yeah, bishop f3, knight takes f3. Now we have rook takes, e2, finally. After 44 moves, he tries to give me a check, but after king f8, he resigns. And after the game, I checked on the, on the website, blah, blah, blah. And I found out that this man is like FIDE ELO 1913. So I beat a 1900. Like not in a rapid game online, it was an over the board game and I beat a 1900. This is gonna be my biggest win for, I don't know, maybe for the whole life, for my whole life. I don't know. But it was a huge moment for me, a huge achievement. No disrespect to this guy at all, because like it was an amazing fight. Like we both blundered, but at the end of the day, like he made the last mistake, so I won. And what's your biggest achievement in chess? Just let me know in the comments. I hope you enjoyed this game. And next Sunday I have the last game of the tournament. And then probably I'm gonna make like a quick recap of all the games. Let me know if you wanna see that kind of video. And see you on the next video. Bye bye.